Humanity unleashed its ultimate weapon, and the Gorn Armada retreated in terror. Dr. David Thompson's desperate gambit had worked. The Sun Eaters, massive autonomous drones designed to drain the energy from stars, causing them to go supernova, had been successfully deployed. Thompson, driven by the loss of his family in a Gorn attack, had become obsessed with the ancient alien technology. He convinced the Earth Defense Council to launch a mission to recover a damaged Sun Eater prototype from the ruins of an alien civilization on the edge of Gorn space. As Thompson's team raced to retrieve the Sun Eater, a Gorn spy named Zarax discovered evidence of the human plot. Zarax urged the ruthless warlord Fornax to attack Earth immediately before the Sun Eaters could be deployed. Fornax, fueled by a lifelong hatred of humans, gathered the might of the Gorn Armada and set course for Earth, determined to wipe out humanity once and for all. Back on Earth, military leaders prepared for a final stand as the Gorn ships darkened the skies. But just as all seemed lost, Thompson's team returned with the repaired Sun Eater prototype. In a desperate bid for survival, Earth's defenders launched the Sun Eaters toward the approaching Gorn fleet. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Sun Eaters latched onto the Gorn ships, draining their power and causing catastrophic chain reactions. Fornax watched in disbelief as his mighty armada was reduced to a field of debris. With their fleet destroyed and their leader in shock, the Gorn had no choice but to retreat. Against all odds, humanity had prevailed. The Sun Eaters had turned the tide of the war, securing a future for the human race. But even as they celebrated their victory, many wondered at what cost it had come and what new threats might arise from the ashes of the Gorn Empire. As Thompson and his team worked feverishly to repair the Sun Eater prototype, the ancient alien device began to reveal its secrets. The technology was far more advanced than anything they had encountered before, and each new discovery brought them closer to unlocking its full potential. Thompson barely slept, his mind consumed by the challenge of integrating the Sun Eater into Earth's defenses. On the bridge of the EDS Titan, Admiral Blakemore watched the readouts with growing concern. The Gorn Armada was closing in, their ships overflowing with weaponry. He knew that Earth's fleet, even with its recent upgrades, would be hard-pressed to hold back the alien onslaught. The Sun Eater project was their last hope, but Blakemore couldn't shake his doubts about relying on untested technology. In the depths of the secret facility, Thompson's team made a critical breakthrough. They had found a way to link the Sun Eater's power systems to Earth's warships, allowing them to drain energy from nearby stars and channel it into devastating weapons. The process was risky, but Thompson was convinced it was their only chance. As the retrofitted ships took to the skies, Zarax made his move. The Gorn spy had infiltrated the facility, disguised as a human technician. He sabotaged the Sun Eater's control systems, hoping to cripple the human fleet at the crucial moment. But Thompson, driven by his obsession, had anticipated such treachery. He confronted Zarax in a brutal hand-to-hand fight, their struggle mirroring the larger battle to come. In space, the Gorn Armada closed in on Earth, their weapons charging. Fornax, driven by his paranoid rage, ordered an all-out attack. The human fleet, bolstered by the Sun Eater-equipped ships, met the Gorn head-on. The two forces clashed in a storm of fire and debris, the fate of two species hanging in the balance. On Earth, crowds gathered to watch the battle unfold, their faces a mix of hope and terror. In the secret facility, Thompson finally overpowered Zarax, but not before the Gorn agent revealed the true scope of Fornax's plan. The warlord didn't just want to conquer Earth. He wanted to exterminate humanity entirely. As the battle raged, the Sun Eater ships began to glow with an eerie light. They drained the energy from nearby stars, causing them to flicker and dim. Then, with a blinding flash, they unleashed their stored power against the Gorn fleet. The alien ships, caught in the maelstrom of cosmic energy, began to break apart. For a moment it seemed that Earth had achieved the impossible. But even as the Gorn Armada fell, Fornax's flagship emerged from the chaos, its weapons locked on Earth. Thompson, watching from the facility, knew that only one option remained. With a heavy heart, he gave the order to overload the Sun Eaters, turning them into makeshift bombs. The Sun Eater ships, their hulls straining with barely contained energy, hurtled towards Fornax's flagship. The warlord, his face contorted with hate, watched in disbelief as the human vessels bore down on him. In a blinding flash of light, the Sun Eaters detonated, consuming Fornax's ship and the remains of his fleet. On Earth, the crowds erupted in cheers as the skies cleared. Admiral Blakemore, his face lined with exhaustion, allowed himself a moment of relief. They had won, but at a terrible cost. The Sun Eater technology was gone, consumed in the final conflagration. And somewhere out there, the remnants of the Gorn Empire still lurked, licking their wounds and plotting revenge. In the secret facility, Thompson collapsed into a chair, his energy spent. He had avenged his family and saved his species, but the price had been high. As he closed his eyes, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was a vast and dangerous place, and humanity had just taken its first steps into a much larger world. The facility's alarms blared as Thompson stumbled to his feet, his ears still ringing from the explosion that had consumed the Sun Eater prototypes. He gripped the edge of his workstation, his mind racing. The Gorn threat had been neutralized, but at a terrible cost. Earth's most powerful weapon was gone, and the galaxy's delicate balance of power had been irrevocably altered. "Dr. Thompson, we need you in the war room immediately," a voice crackled over the intercom. Thompson nodded to himself, knowing that the real work was just beginning. As he made his way through the corridors, he passed technicians and soldiers, their faces a mix of exhaustion and elation. The celebrations would come later. For now, there was too much to be done. In the war room, Admiral Blakemore stood before a holographic display of the solar system, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow. He turned as Thompson entered, his eyes heavy with the weight of command. "Doctor, we need options," Blakemore said without preamble. "The Gorn have retreated, but they'll be back, and next time, they'll be ready for our tricks." Thompson ran a hand through his disheveled hair. "The Sun Eater prototypes are gone, but we still have the data. If we can secure the resources, we might be able to build a new fleet from scratch." Blakemore's eyes narrowed. "How long?" "Months at least, maybe a year." The Admiral's heart made. "We might not have that long. Our fleet is in tatters, and Earth's defenses are barely holding together. We need something now." Thompson's mind raced, possibilities and calculations flashing through his thoughts. There might be another way. The Sun Eaters weren't just weapons, they were tools for harvesting stellar energy. If we can adapt that technology to our existing ships— "Go on," Blakemore urged. "We could create a fleet capable of drawing power directly from stars. It would give us an almost limitless energy source for our weapons and shields." Blakemore nodded slowly. "How quickly can you make it happen?" "With a full team working around the clock, we might have a prototype ready in a few weeks." "Do it," Blakemore ordered. "I'll get you whatever resources you need." As Thompson turned to leave, Blakemore called out, "And David, we're counting on you. All of us." Thompson nodded, the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He left the war room, his mind already filled with schematics and equations. In the depths of space, aboard his battered flagship, Warlord Fornax seethed with rage. The bridge of his vessel was a scene of chaos, with damaged consoles sparking and the acrid smell of burning circuitry filling the air. "Status report," he barked, his scaled fists clenching the arms of his command chair. A trembling subordinate approached. "My lord, we've lost nearly half the Armada. The humans' weapon, it was beyond anything we've ever encountered." Fornax's eyes narrowed to slits. "And the spy? What of Zarax?" "We've received no communication, my lord. He may have been captured or killed." Fornax leaned forward, his voice a low growl. "Then we will assume the humans know everything. We must accelerate our plans." He turned to his tactical officer. "Set course for the outer colonies. We will gather our strength and return to crush the humans once and for all." As the Gorn fleet limped away from Earth, Fornax's mind churned with plans for revenge. The humans had humiliated him, but they had also revealed the extent of their technological prowess. Next time, he would be prepared. Back on Earth, in a secret laboratory deep beneath the surface, Thompson and his team worked feverishly. Holographic displays flickered with complex equations and ship schematics. The air hummed with the energy of creation and the urgency of impending conflict. Thompson stood before a prototype energy collector, its sleek form a testament to human ingenuity and alien inspiration. As he made final adjustments, a gnawing doubt crept into his mind. The power they were harnessing was beyond anything humanity had wielded before. Would they be able to control it, or would they become the very thing they sought to destroy? He pushed the thought aside. There would be time for ethical debates later. For now, survival was all that mattered. As the prototype hummed to life, bathing the laboratory in an otherworldly glow, Thompson allowed himself a moment of hope. Perhaps with this new technology, they could forge a path to lasting peace. But even as he worked, unseen eyes watched from the shadows. The Gorn threat may have been temporarily defeated, but other forces were stirring in the depths of space. Forces that saw humanity's newfound power as a threat or an opportunity. The eerie glow of holographic displays bathed Dr. David Thompson's face as he hunched over his workstation, eyes darting across streams of data. His lab, once a hub of frenetic activity, now stood silent and empty, save for the low hum of equipment. Thompson had retreated here in the wake of the Sun Eater's devastating deployment, driven by an obsession that bordered on madness. "Space-time manipulation," he muttered, fingers flying across haptic interfaces. "It's the key to everything." A priority message flashed on his screen. With a grunt of annoyance, Thompson opened it to reveal the stern visage of Admiral Blakemore. "Doctor, we need to talk," Blakemore said without preamble. "The Gorn have launched a new offensive. We're losing colonies faster than we can evacuate them." Thompson waved a dismissive hand. "I'm on the verge of a breakthrough, Admiral. With a few more resources, I can unlock the Sun Eater's full potential." Blakemore's eyes hardened. "Resources we don't have, Doctor. The regime is authorizing your continued research, but we need results, not theories." As the transmission ended, Thompson slumped in his chair. He knew he was close to something monumental, something that could change the course of the war and perhaps reality itself. But time was running out. Across the galaxy, aboard the Gorn flagship Venom's Fang, Warlord Fornax loomed over a holographic map of human space. Red indicators blinked out one by one as reports of successful attacks poured in. "Excellent," Fornax growled, his scaled lips curling into a savage grin. "The humans grow weaker by the day." Zarax, the spy who had infiltrated the Sun Eater project, approached cautiously. "My lord, our analysis of the battle data is complete. The human's weapon draws power directly from stars, but its full capabilities remain unclear." Fornax's eyes narrowed. "And what do you suggest, Zarax? You who failed to prevent this abomination from being unleashed?" Zarax swallowed hard. "We must strike at the heart of their regime, my lord. Cut off the head and the body will wither." The warlord considered this, claws tapping against the command chair. "Perhaps. But first, we will test their defenses. Prepare the fleet for a push into the inner colonies." Back on Earth, in a nondescript briefing room, General Marcus Grant faced a motley crew of soldiers, scientists, and scavengers. Holograms flickered behind him, displaying star charts and ancient alien ruins. "Our mission is simple," Grant said, his voice gravelly from years of barking orders. "We find what's left of the Sun Eater creator's tech and bring it back. Failure is not an option." A grizzled mercenary raised her hand. "And what if we run into Gorn patrols?" Grant's eyes hardened. "Then we do what we have to. This mission could decide the fate of humanity. We leave in 6 hours. Dismissed." As the team filed out, Grant's second-in-command approached. "Sir, are you sure about this? We're spread thin as it is." Grant nodded grimly. "We don't have a choice. If Thompson's right about what's out there, it could be the edge we need." In orbit above Earth, Admiral Blakemore surveyed the remnants of the Sun Eater fleet. Repair drones swarmed over battle-scarred hulls, patching holes and replacing damaged components. The ships were more powerful than ever, but there were so few left. A junior officer approached, tablet in hand. "Admiral, we've received word from the outer colonies. The Gorn are advancing faster than we anticipated." Blakemore's fists clenched at his sides. "How long until they reach the inner systems?" "At their current pace, 2 weeks, maybe less." The Admiral closed his eyes, weighing his options. They needed more time, but every day brought more losses. The upgraded Sun Eaters were their best hope, but using them carried immense risk. "Prepare the fleet for deployment," Blakemore ordered. "We'll make our stand at Proxima Centauri." As the officer hurried away, Blakemore turned back to the viewport. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and he couldn't shake the feeling that their next move would determine everything. In his lab, Thompson worked feverishly, fueled by stimulants and the certainty that he alone could save humanity. The damaged alien database recovered by Grant's team held secrets beyond imagining. As he delved deeper into its mysteries, Thompson began to glimpse the true nature of the universe and the terrible power the Sun Eaters could unleash. Thompson's eyes burned from lack of sleep as he stared at the pulsing quantum singularity contained within a shimmering force field. The secret sublevel hummed with impossibly strong power, banks of computers processing data at mind-boggling speeds. "We're ready for the next test, Doctor," his assistant said, voice tinged with both excitement and fear. Thompson nodded, not taking his eyes off the swirling vortex. "Initiate power transfer to Sun Eater Prototype Alpha." Alarms blared as energy surged through conduits. The singularity flickered, its event horizon warping in impossible geometries. On a nearby view screen, a simulated star pulsed and writhed. "Power levels at 200% of previous maximum," the assistant reported. 300%, 400%. Thompson's hands flew across the controls, making minute adjustments. "More! Push it further!" The star on the screen began to distort, tendrils of plasma erupting from its surface. Suddenly, a blinding flash filled the lab. When Thompson's vision cleared, the simulated star had vanished, replaced by a ravenous black hole. "My God," Thompson whispered, "we've done it." Above ground, Admiral Blakemore paced the command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the grim state of Earth's defenses. A junior officer approached, datapad in hand. "Sir, we've lost contact with outposts in the Proxima Centauri system," she reported. "Long-range scans show anomalies." Blakemore's eyes narrowed. "What kind of anomalies?" Before she could answer, the entire facility shook. Klaxons wailed as emergency lights bathed the room in crimson. "Multiple stellar destabilizations detected," someone shouted. "It's coming from Thompson's lab." Blakemore grabbed a comm unit. "Thompson, what the hell is going on down there?" Static crackled, then Thompson's voice came through, breathless with excitement. "We've done it, Admiral. We can harness the power of black holes themselves. The Gorn won't stand a chance." "At what cost?" Blakemore demanded, but Thompson had already cut the connection. In orbit, the skeletal frames of half-completed Sun Eater conversions loomed against the stars. Repair drones swarmed over battle-scarred hulls, working frantically to prepare for the coming storm. On the bridge of his flagship, Warlord Fornax studied tactical displays with cold satisfaction. The human defenses were in disarray, their colonies falling one by one. "My lord," Visra hissed, her scales glistening in the dim light. "Our probes have detected a massive energy surge in the Terran system. It matches the Sun Eater signature, but far more powerful." Fornax's eyes narrowed. "So the prey seeks to bare its fangs. Prepare the antimatter warheads. We will test their new weapons and crush them utterly." In a shadowy corner of the bridge, Zarax watched the preparations with growing unease. His gaze fell on Harash, the warlord's daughter, her eyes bright with bloodlust. He had argued against her inclusion in the mission, but now there was no turning back. "Remember your training," he whispered to her. "We are the eyes and claws of the Empire. Our task is to gather intelligence, not seek glory." Harash nodded, but Zarax could see the calculations behind her eyes. She would not be content to remain in the shadows for long. As the Gorn Armada prepared to jump to Earth, chaos erupted on the embattled planet's surface. General Grant's troops struggled to contain riots in the streets of New Shanghai, the air thick with smoke and the crack of pulse rifles. "Hold the line," Grant bellowed, his armor splattered with blood. "Anyone who breaches the perimeter gets shot, no exceptions." A young soldier turned to him, eyes wide with shock. "Sir, these are civilians. We can't just—" Grant silenced him with a glare. These civilians will tear this city apart if we let them. Sometimes hard choices have to be made. As if to punctuate his words, a makeshift bomb detonated nearby, showering them with debris. Grant's comm unit crackled to life with Blakemore's voice. "General, I need you to pull your forces back to defend the Sun Eater facility. We're detecting Gorn's signatures on approach." Grant's fist tight. "With all due respect, Admiral, if we abandon the city now, we'll lose control completely." "That's an order, General," Blakemore snapped. "The fate of humanity is at stake." As Grant reluctantly complied, ordering his troops to fall back, a sense of dread settled over him. The people they were sworn to protect were being sacrificed for weapons that might doom them all. Deep in his lab, oblivious to the chaos above, Thompson prepared for the ultimate test. The enhanced Sun Eaters hummed with scarcely controlled power, ready to be unleashed upon the approaching Gorn fleet. "Once more into the breach," Thompson muttered, his finger hovering over the launch command. The fabric of space-time trembled, awaiting the cosmic conflagration to come. Come. The facility shuddered as Thompson's finger descended on the launch command. Klaxons blared throughout the complex, drowning out the distant sounds of rioting. On view screens throughout the command center, the skeletal frames of the Sun Eater prototypes blazed to life, their quantum matrices pulsing with barely suppressed energies. Admiral Blakemore gripped the edge of a tactical display, nucleus tightening. "Status report on the Gorn fleet?" A junior officer's voice cracked with tension. "Multiple signatures detected, sir. Largest concentration we've ever seen. ETA, 8 minutes. Blakemore's eyes hardened. "Deploy all operational Sun Eaters. May God have mercy on us all." In the bowels of the facility, Thompson stared at cascading streams of data, his face bathed in the eerie glow of holographic displays. Warning indicators flashed across every screen as the artificial singularity beneath them surged with power. "Sir," his assistant's voice wavered, "we're detecting severe quantum fluctuations. The containment field—" A violent tremor cut off his words, sending equipment crashing to the floor. Thompson stumbled, catching himself on a nearby console. His eyes widened as he saw the readings. "No," he whispered, "it's too soon. We're not ready." In orbit, the first wave of Sun Eaters activated. Their hulls shimmered with otherworldly energies as they synced with the artificial singularity. For a moment, silence fell across the battlefield. Then, a pulse of blinding light erupted from the lead ship, spreading outward in a rapidly expanding sphere. Aboard the Gorn flagship, Warlord Fornax's scales bristled as alarms shrieked. "Report!" "Unknown energy signature detected," a sensor operator hissed. "It's impossible. Our shields are—" The view screen exploded in a shower of sparks as the shockwave hit. Fornax roared in pain and rage, talons digging into his command chair. When his vision cleared, he saw chaos. Half his Vanguard fleet drifted lifelessly, their systems fried by the pulse. "Press the attack," Fornax bellowed. "The humans have overreached. We will crush them while they're vulnerable." Deep within the facility, Zarex led his infiltration team through winding corridors. The sounds of battle echoed from all directions as they encountered pockets of human resistance. Pulse rifles crackled, and the acrid smell of ozone filled the air. Harash, Fornax's daughter, moved with predatory grace beside him. Her eyes gleamed with excitement, but Zarex noted the slight tremor in her hands. This was her first true combat mission. "Remember the objective," Zarex growled. "We must reach the singularity controls." A human security team rounded the corner ahead, led by a scarred veteran. "Gorn!" he shouted. "Take them down!" Zarex dove for cover as energy bolts sizzled past. He returned fire, his plasma caster leaving scorch marks on the walls. Harash snarled and leapt forward, her ceremonial blade flashing in the emergency lighting. The battle raged on multiple fronts. In space, Blakemore's remaining Sun Eaters struggled against the Gorn counterattack. On the ground, General Grant's forces fought desperately to hold the perimeter, and deep below, Thompson raced against time to stabilize the quantum singularity before it tore reality apart. As the maelstrom of violence intensified, None could foresee the true scope of the devastation about to unfold. The very fabric of space-time trembled, awaiting the moment when humanity's hubris would unleash forces beyond their comprehension. The universe trembled. In an instant, reality itself seemed to fracture. The Sun Eater's energy pulse collided with Thompson's quantum device, creating a cataclysmic reaction that tore through space and time. Admiral Blakemore watched in horror as the fabric of existence warped before his eyes. Half his fleet simply vanished, while others phased in and out of reality like ghosts. He gripped the command console, squeezing hard. "All ships, disengage immediately," he barked into the comm. "Fall back to safe distance." The remaining Sun Eaters struggled to comply, their systems fighting against the gravitational chaos. Blakemore's flagship shuddered as it pulled away from the expanding anomaly. Deep within the facility, Xarax and his team burst into Thompson's lab just as the scientist activated his device. A blinding flash filled the room, accompanied by an otherworldly hum that seemed to vibrate through their very atoms. "No!" Harash cried, lunging forward. But it was too late. The quantum energies engulfed both her and Thompson, freezing them in a moment of eternal struggle. Xarax watched, scales jam-packed, as his charge became trapped in a bubble of distorted time. Outside, the battle devolved into pandemonium. Gorn warships twisted and shattered, their hulls unable to withstand the cosmic forces unleashed. Fornax's voice roared over the comms, a mixture of rage and disbelief. "What have these humans done?" he snarled. "Visra, report!" The science officer's voice quavered. "My lord, we're detecting a localized singularity. It's stable, but the surrounding space-time is severely distorted." As suddenly as it began, the chaos subsided. The rift collapsed in on itself, forming a contained sphere of warped reality. At its center, Thompson and Harash remained suspended, locked in their quantum embrace. General Grant stormed into the lab, pulse rifle at the ready. His eyes widened as he took in the scene. The frozen tableau of human and Gorn, the pulsing energies of the singularity, and the shell-shocked faces of Thompson's research team. "What in God's name happened here?" Grant demanded. One of the scientists, a young woman with haunted eyes, stepped forward. "Thompson, he became obsessed. He thought he could harness the power of space-time itself, but it was too much. We couldn't control it." Grant's comm unit crackled to life. Blakemore's voice came through, tense and clipped. "General, what's your status?" "Thompson's contained, sir," Grant replied, eyeing the frozen scientist. "But I think contained might be an understatement." As the hours passed, an uneasy quiet settled over the battlefield. Neither side dared approach the anomaly, fearing further destabilization. Fornax's fleet hung in space, a mirror of Blakemore's diminished forces. On the Gorn flagship, Visra delivered her report. "The singularity appears stable for now, my lord, but its effects on local space-time make approach impossible." Fornax's talons dug into his command chair. "And Harash?" Visra hesitated. "Trapped, my lord. We can't reach her without risking total collapse of the anomaly." A low growl rumbled in Fornax's throat. "These humans and their cosmic abominations. They will pay for this." Back on Earth, Blakemore paced the command center. Holographic displays showed the anomaly, a pulsing sphere of distorted reality. Grant's face appeared on a nearby screen. "What's our next move, Admiral?" the general asked. Blakemore's eyes never left the anomaly. "We secure what's left of the Sun Eaters, and we pray that whatever Thompson unleashed doesn't spell the end for us all." As the two leaders spoke, seeds of discord were already taking root. In the shadows of the command center, junior officers whispered of coups and power grabs. The remaining Sun Eaters represented humanity's last hope, and an irresistible prize for the ambitious. Xarax, now safely aboard Fornax's ship, stared out at the stars. His mission had succeeded beyond his wildest expectations, but at what cost? He clenched his fist, mind racing with the possibilities this new knowledge presented. The singularity pulsed, a silent sentinel to the fragile peace. Within its depths, Thompson and Harash remained frozen, their fates intertwined for eternity. Around them, the forces of two civilizations watched and waited, each wondering who would make the first move in this new and terrifying game. The singularity pulsed, a silent sentinel to the fragile peace. Within its depths, Thompson and Harash remained frozen, their fates intertwined for eternity. Around them, the forces of two civilizations watched and waited, each wondering who would make the first move in this new and terrifying reality. Years passed and the uneasy truce held. Admiral Blakemore's remaining Sun Eater fleet maintained a constant vigil around the anomaly's perimeter, their hulls gleaming in the cold light of distant stars. On the bridge of his flagship, Blakemore studied the latest sensor readings, his face etched with lines of worry. "Any changes?" he asked his science officer. "Negative, sir. The singularity remains stable, but—" The young officer hesitated. Blakemore's eyes narrowed. "Speak freely, Lieutenant." "There are fluctuations, minute, but increasing in frequency. It's as if the anomaly is breathing." Before Blakemore could respond, alarms blared across the command deck. A junior officer's voice rang out, "Sir, we're detecting unauthorized launches from Earth." Blakemore's blood ran cold. He'd feared this day would come. "On screen," he ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a chilling sight. A dozen skeletal frames rose from hidden silos, their quantum matrices pulsing with familiar deadly energy. Sun Eaters. But these were different, sleeker, more refined, more dangerous. "It's Grant," Blakemore growled. "He's made his move." Across the void of space aboard the Gorn flagship, Warlord Fornax received similar reports. His scaled fingers tightened on the arms of his command chair as Visra delivered her analysis. "The humans have restarted their Sun Eater program," she hissed. "Our deep cover operatives confirm it." Fornax's eyes gleamed with predatory anticipation. "Then the time for waiting is over. Signal the Armada. We strike now while they are divided." As Grant's Sun Eaters approached the anomaly, Blakemore found himself caught between two dire threats. His comm unit crackled to life with an incoming transmission from Earth. "This is General Marcus Grant," the gruff voice declared. "By order of the Emergency Council, I am assuming control of all military operations. Stand down and prepare to be relieved, Admiral." Blakemore's heart made. "I don't recognize your authority, Grant. Stand down your forces immediately or—" His words were cut short as space itself seemed to shudder. The singularity sphere pulsed, waves of chronometric energy radiating outward. On view screens across both fleets, impossible images flickered to life. Thompson and Harash, no longer frozen, but shifting and shimmering like quantum ghosts. Their voices, distorted and overlapping, echoed through every ship's communication systems. The key to everything," Thompson's fragmented consciousness babbled. "Father, the power, beyond imagining," Harash's essence whispered. Fornax leaned forward, scales filled with excitement. "At last," he growled. "Visra, prepare the antimatter delivery system. We will free my daughter and unlock the secrets of the cosmos." As Gorn warships surged forward, their weapons primed, Grant's voice boomed across the battlefield. "This is our moment. Seize control of the anomaly at all costs." Blakemore watched in horror as human and Gorn forces converged on the singularity, each seeking to harness its reality-shattering power. He knew that any misstep could unleash devastation beyond imagining. "All ships," he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Defensive formation Delta. We cannot let either side claim the anomaly." As the rival factions clashed, energy weapons searing the void, Blakemore found himself making an unthinkable choice. He opened a secure channel to an unlikely ally, one who might help prevent the annihilation of both species. "This is Admiral Nathaniel Blakemore," he said, his voice grim. "I need to speak with Xerax immediately. The fate of our civilizations hangs in the balance." The singularity pulsed once more, reality itself trembling on the precipice of cosmic upheaval. The final battle for control of time and space had begun. The singularity pulsed once more, reality itself trembling on the precipice of cosmic upheaval. The final battle for control of time and space had begun. Years passed, and the uneasy truce between Admiral Blakemore's forces and the Gorn fleet held like a fraying thread. But beneath the surface, tensions simmered, and plans were set in motion that would shatter the fragile peace. On Earth, General Marcus Grant stood in a cavernous underground facility, surrounded by the sleek obsidian frames of next-generation Sun-Eaters. His eyes gleamed with pride and ambition as he surveyed the fruits of his clandestine labor. "Status report," he barked to the chief engineer. "Final calibrations complete, sir. The quantum matrices are stable and ready for activation." Grant nodded, a predatory smile spreading across his face. "Excellent. Prepare for launch sequence." In orbit, aboard his flagship, Admiral Blakemore received an urgent transmission from his intelligence network. The young officer's face was ashen as he delivered the news. "Sir, we've confirmed it. Grant has restarted the Sun-Eater program. Multiple launch sites detected." Blakemore's eyebrows furrowed. He'd feared this day would come, but the reality of it still felt like a punch to the gut. "Alert all commands. We may need to—" His words were cut short as alarms blared across the bridge. On the main view screen, a sea of Gorn warships materialized from hyperspace, their weapons already charging. "Incoming transmission from the Gorn flagship," the communications officer announced. Warlord Fornax's scaled visage filled the screen, his eyes burning with anticipation. "The waiting is over, human. We will claim what is ours and reduce your civilization to ash." As Fornax's Armada surged forward, the singularity containing Thompson and Harash pulsed violently. Waves of chronometric energy radiated outward, causing reality to ripple and distort. On every view screen and communications channel across both fleets, impossible images flickered to life. Thompson and Harash no longer frozen, but shifting and shimmering like quantum ghosts. The key to everything," Thompson's fragmented consciousness babbled. "Father, the power, beyond imagining," Harash's essence whispered. Fornax leaned forward, scales filled with excitement. "At last," he growled. "Visra, prepare the antimatter delivery system. We will free my daughter and unlock the secrets of the cosmos." As Gorn warships converged on the anomaly, Grant's voice boomed across the battlefield. "This is our moment. Seize control of the singularity at all costs." Blakemore watched in horror as human and Gorn forces clashed, energy weapons searing the void. He knew that any misstep could unleash devastation beyond imagining. "All ships," he commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Defensive formation Delta. We cannot let either side claim the anomaly." As the battle raged, Blakemore made an unthinkable choice. He opened a secure channel to an unlikely ally, one who might help prevent the annihilation of both species. "This is Admiral Nathaniel Blakemore," he said, his voice grim. "I need to speak with Zarax immediately." Deep within Grant's stronghold, the Gorn spy received the transmission. Zarax's scales twitched with anticipation. The moment he had been waiting for had finally arrived. "I'm listening, Admiral," he hissed. "What do you propose?" Blakemore's reply was terse. "A truce, to save both our civilizations from extinction." As Zarax considered the offer, Grant's prototype Sun-Eaters engaged Fornax's fleet. The weapons unleashed cascading waves of quantum disruption, tearing holes in the fabric of space-time. The singularity expanded rapidly, threatening to engulf everything in its path. Thompson and Harash's quantum echoes grew more distinct, their voices overlapping in a maddening chorus of cosmic secrets. Blakemore knew he had only one chance to avert catastrophe. He assembled a small team of his most trusted officers and prepared to enter the singularity's maw. "We're going in," he announced, his voice steady, "to communicate with Thompson and Harash directly. It may be our only hope of containing this disaster." As Blakemore's shuttle approached the anomaly's perimeter, Grant's forces launched a desperate assault to claim control. Simultaneously, Fornax's chief scientist, Visra, activated a series of anti-singularity warheads. The universe seemed to hold its breath as the cosmic forces collided. Blakemore's team breached the outer barrier of the singularity, plunging into a realm where the laws of physics no longer applied. Within the swirling maelstrom of quantum possibilities, Blakemore heard Thompson's voice, clearer than ever before. "Admiral," the scientist's quantum echo called out, "you must listen carefully. The Sun Eaters, they were never meant to be weapons. They're the key to something far greater and far more terrifying." As Blakemore struggled to comprehend Thompson's words, the battle outside reached its crescendo. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance, with the power to reshape reality itself within reach. As Blakemore's consciousness pierced the singularity's barrier, he felt reality itself unravel around him. The physical laws that had governed his existence dissolved, replaced by a kaleidoscope of quantum possibilities. "Admiral?" Thompson's voice echoed through the void, clearer than ever before. "You've crossed the threshold, but we don't have much time." Blakemore tried to speak, but found he had no physical form. His thoughts reverberated through the quantum foam instead. "Thompson, what's happening out there?" A shimmering image coalesced before him, the battle raging outside the anomaly. Blakemore watched in horror as Fornax's forces hammered the singularity with antimatter barrages. Each impact sent shockwaves through the higher dimensions, threatening to tear apart the fabric of space-time. "The Gorns seek to weaponize the anomaly," Thompson's essence explained. "But they don't understand the forces they're tampering with. If they succeed, it will trigger a cosmic reboot, one that could obliterate all existence." Blakemore's mind reeled at the implications. "How do we stop it?" A new presence made itself known. Harash, her consciousness intertwined with Thompson's. Together, they formed a unified oversoul, transcending the boundaries of individual existence. "There is a way," their merged voices intoned, "but the cost will be great." The oversoul enveloped Blakemore, flooding his awareness with cosmic understanding. In that moment of sublime clarity, he grasped the full scope of what needed to be done. "I have to sacrifice myself," Blakemore realized, "to seed a new dimensional framework." "Yes," the Oversoul confirmed. "Your energy signature, dispersed through the singularity, can establish new cosmic constants. It's the only way to prevent total unraveling." Outside, Visra's precision strikes intensified. The singularity's quantum matrix began to fracture, leaking chrono-energy into normal space. Reality itself trembled on the edge of collapse. Blakemore felt a surge of willpower. "I'll do it, for Earth, for all of us." "Then let it be done," the Oversoul intoned. Blakemore's essence unraveled, spreading through the higher dimensions. As his consciousness diffused, he caught fleeting glimpses of other realities, countless parallel universes flickering in and out of existence. With a final burst of will, Blakemore imprinted his energy signature across the cosmic tapestry. New laws of physics crystallized in his wake, rewriting the fundamental nature of reality. A shockwave of chronal force exploded outward from the singularity. It washed over the battlefield, atomizing Fornax and much of the Gorn fleet in an instant. The Sun Eaters and the anomaly itself vanished, leaving behind a strange new region of spacetime. As the cosmic dust settled, survivors on both sides found themselves adrift in an alien existence. Their weapons and propulsion systems, calibrated for the old laws of physics, lay inert and useless. Aboard the remnants of Earth's fleet, shell-shocked crews stared at sensor readings that defied comprehension. Where the singularity had been, a vast, unexplored frontier now beckoned, its physics unlike anything they had ever encountered. In the shattered remains of his command center, General Grant's face contorted with rage and despair. "What have they done?" he howled. "Thompson and his lackeys have damned us all." But others saw hope in the cosmic reset. As the surviving ships drifted towards the new frontier, whispers spread of Blakemore's sacrifice and the chance for a fresh start beyond the cycle of war. At the very edge of the transformed space, a solitary Gorn science vessel hung motionless. On its bridge, Visra stared at the readings with a mixture of awe and terror. The universe as she knew it had changed forever. And somewhere in the cosmic reshuffle, her daughter Harash's essence lingered, a ghost in the machine of a reborn reality.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.